Welcome gamers to this week's vlog. This week's gaming has been heavily dominated by slaying zombies, cyborgs and xenomorphs with a bit of retro arcade racing thrown into the mix. A quick overview of the games I've played this week and the trophies I've been earning. Started off last Saturday where I continued with retro pixel racers and decided to then alternate between that and Terminator Resistance on the PS4. Going through both of those games throughout the week, but also having a co-op session on Call of Duty Zombies for Advanced Warfare, where we've got one trophy left to get, although we didn't get it this week, and had a couple of sessions of Aliens Fireteam Elite, where we managed to complete the insane difficulty, which that means I've got one trophy left on that for the Platinum, and that is to go through and upgrade all of the various classes, so it's a bit of an XP grind that we'll be doing over the next week. But let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into each of those games now. Retro Pixel Racer is an overhead tabletop arcade style racer where you have to complete 26 levels comprising of 13 different tracks. You have to win a race against other AI cars on one and then complete the time trial on another, with trophies being awarded every other level by winning the races. I do love retro style arcade racers and found this game pretty fun. For the most part, the levels were not overly difficult to complete, but I did find a couple of the levels to be very challenging, which took me many attempts until I eventually built up the muscle memory that was required to be able to complete them. As mentioned in a lot of my vlogs, I regularly play Call of Duty Zombies on a Monday night as I look to try and get 100% in as many Call of Duty games as possible. The final trophy needed on Advanced Warfare for the PS3 is to reach round 20 and beat the boss in double tap mode, which is the hardest trophy we've come up against on any Call of Duty Zombies for the PS3, and thankfully it's the last one we need. What makes this mode hard is that it's in black and white, so at times it can be hard to see things, and you also completely lose your heads up display, so you can't see how much ammo you have left. Also, all zombies now have double the amount of health than what they normally do in normal mode. And you can only actually earn points for killing a zombie compared to normal mode where you're able to gain points simply from damaging them. So if your co-op partner gets a final shot on a zombie, then they will get the points, yet you may have wasted a lot of ammo damaging the zombie with no point gain. This makes it so much harder to gain points overall, and so coordination is needed to ensure points are shared out equally so that everyone is able to spin the weapon box as well as buy critical perks. If you happen to go down at any point, then you cannot be revived in this mode either, and then when you come back at the start of the next wave, you will have lost everything and only have a starter pistol. If this happens any time after round 8, then it becomes almost impossible to kill zombies with only the starter pistol and melee, meaning you're very unlikely to be able to gain any points to buy new weapons and perks unless you'd already saved up points before you went down. We have actually earned this trophy on the PS4 version already, so hopefully we can get this PS3 one done this week. Another regular co-op game I've been playing once every week or two is Aliens Fireteam Elite. This past couple of weeks we've been attempting to complete every campaign and mission on the insane difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game, and I'm very happy to say that this week we managed to complete them all and earn the hardest trophy in the game. It's been an extremely fun time over the past few months working through all the different difficulties as we earn the XP to make our characters stronger and get our builds right. All I now have left is one trophy for maxing out 5 classes, and I've done 2 out of the 5 already, so all that stands in the way of the Platinum now for me is just grinding out some XP on the remaining 3 classes on the easier difficulties. To then get the 100%, I have one final trophy for reaching round 10 on hardcore mode, which is not as difficult as the insane difficulty runs, so shouldn't pose too much of a problem. Lastly this week we have Terminator Resistance, which is a first-person shooter set in post-apocalyptic Los Angeles around 2028-2029, about 30 years after Judgment Day, where you play as protagonist Resistance soldier Jacob Rivers in the battle to try and take out Skynet. The game ties in really well with the first two Terminator films and adds in a great storyline that connects them all up. This was the PS4 version of the game, as I'd already got the platinum for the PS5 enhanced version previously. The PS5 version adds in some additional content and extends the story even further with some DLC as well, and also introduces an infiltrator mode where you actually play as a Terminator. If you've never played the game before and don't like to stack platinums, then definitely play the PS5 version. I'm especially happy to add this version to my trophy cabinet, however, as it also completes the whole game series for me, as I got the platinum for Terminator Salvation way back in 2010, and it's one of 5 game series completions that I need for my Ultimate Trophy Hunters Challenge. I just want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the gaming legends you can currently see on screen who are my Patreon supporters. Supporting the channel in any number of ways really does make a very big difference to a small channel like mine, so every like, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and comment is greatly appreciated. If you do want to take your support that one step further and be a patron and get access to my Discord server, then please follow the link in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Now it's time for some community questions, with the first one coming from Atababy It's a Boy, which is: pretend trophies were essential and you were upset that you couldn't achieve 100% or the platinum in the game. What are the top 3 games that are no longer achievable that you wish you could turn back time to complete? It can be a game you didn't know about until later that you never started, or a game you have but didn't finish. So Atta, I think the first game is going to be Wipeout 2048 on the Vita, which has an unobtainable platinum due to server closure. I started the solo campaign back on the Vita in 2013, but never got around to starting the multiplayer and didn't realise until it was too late that the online servers got shut down. It's a shame, as it's a great game and it remains the only unobtainable platinum currently sitting on my account. I do also have other unobtainable trophies associated with 100% no platinum games or DLCs where I've already got the platinum, but Wipeout 2048 is my only unobtainable platinum. The second game I would say is a PSN game called Burnout Crash, which is a 100% no platinum game that had no physical release and was delisted from the PS3 store, as well as having its online servers shut down, so this prevents me from being able to complete the full game series for Burnout. I really love the Burnout series and have the platinum in all 3 stacks of Burnout Paradise for the PS3 and PS4, but never bought this PSN only game, and even if someone who owns it was to install it on my PS3, the 100% would still be impossible due to the online trophies that are now unobtainable due to the server closure, which is a shame as it looked like a fun game. I also just want to add that I would dearly love them to start adding all the PS2 Burnout games to the classic catalogue with trophy support as well, even though I own all the PS2 Burnout games physically. My third game would be Resistance 2. When I first got the PS3, I was heavily into Call of Duty, and so the Resistance games just seemed to pass me by. I have, however, heard so many good things about Resistance 2 multiplayer, but I kind of missed the boat on its heyday, and by the time I was fully aware of the game, the servers had been shut down already, and so the platinum was no longer possible for me. I do own the physical copies of all the Resistance games, however, and still plan at some point to play through the stories for all of them. Well, this week's second question comes from Diffident Duck. Which game do you wish you could experience again for the first time? Well, Diffident, this is an easy one for me, and it's going to have to be Dead Space. I love both the original Dead Space and Dead Space 2, and have actually been able to platinum them both twice with a 13-year gap between both of them. The original Dead Space first back in 2010, and then the PS5 remake of it in 2023. Plus I did the UK version of Dead Space 2 way back in 2011, and the German version of it in 2024. Both times it was a big enough gap to somewhat feel like it was being played from afresh, but even with that amount of time in between, I could still remember many aspects of both games, and so as good as they both were to platinum a second time, neither of the second playthroughs gave quite the same experience as those very first playthroughs, and I'd love to be able to experience both games again for the very first time, but especially the original Dead Space, as I remember the experience being so exhilarating. So that's it for another week's vlog. Please do let me know in the comments what games you're currently playing, and also what platinum is currently unobtainable that you would love to go back in time and earn the platinum for it before it was unobtainable, and what game would you love to be able to experience again for the very first time. Please do also consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, as this really does help the algorithm and really helps to grow the channel. With all that being said, please enjoy your games, take care, and look after yourselves.